What if I told you it's not necessarily your fault that your drums don't hit? I'm going to show you one secret I discovered in the past week or two that changed everything about my mixing. So what it comes down to is not the drum. So for example, let's create a little pattern here. We're going to do it at like 84, 88 BPM. Let's do 88 BPM. We're going to use some sounds at busyworksbeats.com/blacknr, what's called the Blueprint XL. We're going to go to the drum kit here and I'll show you guys. So let's use a G-Unit kick, something really simple. And I'm going to show you guys how the most simple pattern can actually be turned into a crazy sound. But first we got to get some sounds here. And let's get a hi-hat from our pack. And where we at here? So again, the black bundle has everything in it. So this is every sound we've ever created, plus our plugins, plus our courses. So it's literally everything I've ever created in what we call the black box bundle. You guys can find it at busyworksbeats.com/black. So I'm just going to show you guys a couple things. So let's just draw a simple pattern. I'm not even going to like go crazy with the swing. Let's just simple pattern. So boom, the doom, 1, 2, the doom, the doom, the doom. Let's turn up the swing here. Now we can also select the thing we want to swing, like the kick, for example. Click the down here and then go to where it says set swing for selected, and we can have the swing parameter apply to just that thing and nothing else. Okay, so I want a little more swing on this. Let's make it like 75. I guess, you know, we have to set the value first. There we go. There we go. All right, now most people are like, okay, those drums are weak, but you have to know how to put it all together. So let's route these in here. Let's do to this track. All right, now we're going to load up a plugin called Analog Matrix, which is going to access what they call Access Analog. And this is a company that I recently discovered. All right, my bad. So basically we have our drums and then we're going to run it through this plugin and it will send it to a company that actually owns a real studio with analog gear in the actual studio. So for example, we can connect here. I recommend you guys do a hardwire Ethernet connection. And then basically what we could do is go to source. We're going to upload the audio from the DAW. So we're going to click DAW, upload audio. Then we're just going to hit play. And it's basically recording the audio. We're going to let this run a couple times just so we have a little bit of material. All right, and we're going to stop it. So now we can see the file here. And we're going to go to the equipment. So basically, you're not going to hear anything from the DAW. It's playing this file over and over again. So let's go to the equipment. And I'm going to show you guys how you could take that basic drum and turn it into something crazy. So firstly, let's add a compressor. Now, I never really appreciated compressors until you hear the analog compressors. And you're like, okay, that's what people are chasing. So let's add this compressor, one of my favorites, for the Tegeler Cream, for example. Let's turn down the output just so we don't. Now, because these sounds are low, let's lower the threshold here so it grips on it more. Like you could really hear this compression, whereas if you tried to use a plugin, you just wouldn't hear this compression. And we can push harder into the actual gear. That might help some of the levels here. Let's push harder into it. Now, I think if we go to source and we switch this back to DAW, I think we can use the audio from our DAW. So it will basically loop instead of us having to hit stop and play. So normally I push this a little bit harder. I'm trying to push it without, there we go. You can hear that detail. There we go, now we're getting that detail. Now we're going to run it through a saturator to just liven up some of the sound here. And now we're adding a feeling to the drums. So now it's not just this static sound. Now it has a feeling to it. And we could add a limiter. One of my favorite things to do is add a distressor though. That has a really nice sound in my opinion. But let's add the limiter here just to show you guys. We could also add some harmonic distortion here. And now the drums sound massive. If you're really going crazy, you could add the SSL, widen out the drums. Here we gotta watch the levels a little bit because the SSL tends to get a little heated. Now we have a huge drum sound. So here's the before. The drums don't sound bad because I sound designed them. So they're good source materials. But if you want to take it to a different level, now you can feel those drums. So what we're going to do is bounce this, and it's going to go to our downloads folder. It says audio. Oh, you know what? I forgot to go to source, my bad, and switch this to what's called server file, the file that we recorded in, and then let's bounce that. So I'm going to pause the video, but it takes, you know, however long it takes to go through the audio, that's how long it will take here to process through the analog gear. It's going to download it to your computer, and basically we can just drag and drop it straight into our DAW just like that. So now it's done. Let's go to our downloads folder. And you can also save presets on this plugin. So I'd highly recommend this company. If you guys want to learn more, go to busyworksbeats.com/accessanalog. But you can go to presets and then save a new one, and you guys can save it. I have a ton of presets here. And then we're going to X out of here, drag it into your DAW, and here's the audio. Let me turn off the plugin because it does add a latency. So if you don't want the latency, just remove the plugin just like that. Now we should be able to hear. Now let's play these back to back just so you guys understand how dramatically different these sound, okay? And not just because it's louder. It has way more dynamic. It has way more like liveliness to it. So shout out to EA Ski, always talking about converters. And I think he has a new product called the B50, if I'm not mistaken, coming out. B50. I can't tell if it's a preamp or what. But shout out to EA Ski making his own hardware. But I think Mr. Hilby, forgive me if I'm saying the wrong names, but I think Sonics, when you understand this level of detail, it really does make you question why we even use DAWs. But if you understand how to use this plugin like Access Analog, busyworksbeats.com/accessanalog, you guys will understand how important it is to have this workflow. So here's the before on the left. Again, the drums are good source sounds, but if we want to maximize these sounds, we got to push them. Most of the time, okay? Generalizing here. All right, now we're about to hear the after. Let's turn it down to try to level match. You can feel the drums. And that's why I love compressors on drums. You could really hear it in the analog domain. In the plugin domain, compressors just sound like they just take away the vibe of the drums. But in the analog world, compressors actually add life to it. And that's a huge part of why your drums suck, is because the plugins sound nothing like the real thing at all. And I've done a comparison. So let's hear the real thing. Night and day drums. So I'm going to save this because this file is actually pretty fire. I'm working on a new drum kit for you guys, and I'm doing a lot of sound design. So I'm going to reprocess my drums to all this analog gear to give you guys that authentic sound that you guys are so used to hearing in these boom bap classics. So I'm going to bring that sound back for you guys because I've learned that is the plugin to, or the service, Access Analog. That's the service to use to get that sound. So I'm going to revise all my drums and create a new drum kit for you guys. So stay on the lookout for that. Hopefully it's out by Black Friday, but I'm working feverishly, if that's the right word. So go to busyworksbeats.com/black to see the latest and greatest of our offer. Peace out, guys.